Greetings, royal family. I'm back. Happy Monday. Hope you had a fantastic weekend. It is with great sadness that I am bringing to you Power Season 6, Episode 10, which is the mid-season finale. Ladies and gentlemen, this was a heavy one for some. Some people are excited, some people are happy. I don't know how I feel, okay? So let's just get straight into it. So this episode, this intense episode opens up with Ghost, sitting in his hotel room, kind of reflecting. Seems like he's in a happy place, a place of, where he's pleased, and you see him picking up the phone to call Tariq, his ungrateful son, leaving him a message telling him, he wants to talk to him and he's got to talk to him face to face because on episode 9, the previous episode, Tariq basically cussed his father out. He told him, you were never a father to me. I hate you. Stay away from mom because, he yoked Tasha up against the refrigerator and like finger mushed her and all this other stuff because he was really angry with her parenting skills or lack thereof. Anyway, so Tariq went off on his father. He just has no respect for him. He told him, if you come near mom again, I'm going to kill you myself. So this episode opens up with him calling Tariq and leaving him a message telling him look, we need to speak face to face. There's some things that I have to say to you. So after he leaves that message, he's just looking out his window, reflecting. Ramona calls him, tells him to turn on the news. He turns the news on. He sees that it is being announced that he is, he's basically, what is her name? Walsh? Whatever the lady's name is who's running for governor, that he's her running mate, lieutenant governor. So they pretty much in the news, segment, they highlight how he was exonerated. He was a former drug dealer. So just talking about everything that he's overcome, all of the good things about James St. Patrick, that he is proud of and he's trying to, turn his life legit, all of that good stuff. So he's in awe. He tells Ramona, thank you. And Ramona just basically says something that is music to his ears. I believe in you. Ultimately, he wants to be with someone who believes in his vision. His vision is to go legit. That has been his plan since season 1, to get out of the game that he's been in since childhood and go legit. So all of these things are coming into fruition. So he's just on a natural high right now, So in the next scene, we see Sax. Sax is defeated, downtrodden, mad, probably a little bit in borderline insane at this point. So he shows up at Warner's office and he's ticked off and he just feels defeated. So Warner is just looking at him like, are you on medication, Sax? Do you need medication? Sax will not let this go because he feels that he is right. Now, some things he is right about as far as Ghost is concerned, right? But the steps that he's taken to figure this out, to solve this case, to crack this case, they're unconventional, illegal, and it's just his emotions are too wrapped up in this. Rightfully so, he's been invested in this case forever, you know what I mean? So I can understand. So Warner pretty much calls security and gets him escorted out of his office. Warner's even shocked at the fact that Sax is even in the building because his badge should have been deactivated, but it wasn't. So he did ask Warner, has he searched James' hotel room? And Warner's like, why would I do that? Now he's trying to get Warner to, look into searching James's room because remember, he planted the phone that was found in Terry Silver's car in James's hotel room. Well, he got Dre to do it. Now, all throughout this episode, I'll skip ahead a little bit. All throughout this episode, we don't know what's on that phone. It's being said that it's Terry Silver's phone, but what's on the phone though? I don't know. I don't think that Ghost would be dumb enough to not dot his I's and cross his T's and leave that phone behind. I don't know. Something just doesn't seem right about that phone. And Sax is so stupid. He himself didn't even look to see what was on the phone. He just keeps it, hands it to Dre, and has Dre planted in James' hotel room. So Ramona James and the Walsh lady, they're meeting up, and she's just singing his praises. Ramona is like, excited. She's happy. She's like smiling at James. So James basically tells the Walsh lady that the site that he had looked at, where he killed Jason in the elevator, that site is no longer available. So Walsh is letting him know, look, if you don't find another site, then you're not going to be my lieutenant governor, and I'm going to get, Tate. So he has to hurry up and pretty much find a new site. Now, Walsh is using James. Ramona is vouching for him, yes, because she has a good reputation in the politics and all that good stuff. But Walsh is essentially using James for the urban vote. So it makes sense. Now, what else? Jamie, he goes back home. So remember, Jamie, he has to find a new site, and he goes home and he meets up with his uncle. Not really his uncle, but his uncle, who ends up recognizing who he is. And see, this is the first time that we see anything pertaining to James' family life, or his family. We don't know much about his mother. We don't know much about his father. We never seen anyone from his family in all 6 seasons. So this was interesting. So his uncle is kind of telling him, like, your father would be proud of you. James is trying to buy the bar that his uncle owns because, he wants to use that to honor Raina's memory. And he makes him an offer and yada, yada. So he does end up getting the bar. But his uncle is telling him, it's a shame because his father basically got shot by some drug dealers, and he tried to explain himself, and he says, I told your father, let's just pay them off and be done with it. Don't bother going to any police. So we get a little bit of insight of what happened to James' father. After that, he went to go live with Tommy. So that's why their whole dynamic is like they're brothers, because they were raised together. Kate basically raised, Jamie. So that was good to see. So again, that's the first time that we see anything from his past exposed, or anyone from his past, revealed or exposed. So next scene is Rodriguez and Warner. They're at the office, and Rodriguez is telling Warner that Tasha told her and Saxe that James killed Silver. So all she wants is a search warrant. She just wants a search warrant, and her boss is telling her that, listen, if you can come up with good reason for me to get a search warrant, if you can get a search warrant, then I'll back you up. I wish you luck. And he did tell her, like, hey, you're starting to sound like Saxe, and I don't mean that in a complimentary way, So now we move on to Tate, Saxe, and Rodriguez. So Saxe and Rodriguez show up to Tate's office, and they want to talk to him, right? So this is music to Tate's ears, because Saxe basically coerced Tate into giving a false witness statement. He basically says that, what did Tate say? Tate is like following along. He says that, James was angry at the groundbreaking of the QCP, when they first announced that Tate was running for governor, and they were there in the groundbreaking ceremony, all that good stuff. So Tate is in his glory. He has that sneaky smile, like, yeah, we're going to nail him. Now, Rodriguez is not feeling the way that Saxe went about getting this witness statement. But Rodriguez, you didn't say anything. So now you in this. You all wrapped up in this. So it just basically proves that everybody is corrupt, sneaky, and a bunch of liars, So moving along, we see Simon and James. Now, James needs money, and Simon is willing to, do business with James. We've seen Simon all throughout these series. And Simon is just basically telling James, I'm your only friend. And he has some future business ventures that he wants James to be a part of. And Simon never liked Tate, so he gets James to admit, like, you were right about Tate. Now, this is what I still don't understand. We don't know much about Tate. Simon never liked him. He seems to talk greasy. We don't know anything about Tate's background except that he used to be a cop. So was he a crooked cop? Was he related to Ray Ray, who Tyreek shot? This has to all come together before this series ends. And I think Courtney will definitely bring everything together. So now James is being followed, right? Throughout this whole episode, we see James being followed, but we don't see the face of the person who's following him. I have a couple of prospects, but I guess we're going to have to wait and see. Now, James sees Angela's ghost in his room, in his hotel room, and she's pretty much giving him the green light to move on and date Ramona, And Ghost Angela tells James, don't tell her anything about your past. She's not from the neighborhood. She wouldn't understand. James, he doesn't want to let her go, but Ghost Angela is telling him, you can, So throughout this episode, it's like he's getting closure. Like, he's seeing, Angela's ghost, and he's emotional, but she's reassuring him, like, you did it. You finally went legit. I'm so proud of you. You can move on. You can let go of me. You can. So, yeah, he's free. He's legit. And like I said before, James has been trying to do this from season 1. And again, he's just getting closure, and it seems like he's really taking this in. He's like feeling all of this. He's like, you know what? I'm really legit, and he's taking it seriously. Like, he never even wanted to run for a political office. He did say that to Tate in the episode, but he's taking advantage, and he's already starting to realize that this could definitely work in his favor if he does, gain political power. This could definitely work in his favor, and this could help so many people. But it seems like the relationships with the people around him are like kind of falling off, and he's okay with it. So Ramona and James meet up. He meets up to tell her, they found a new location. She's excited. They kiss, and she's saying that, I've been wanting to do that for so long, and he embraces her as well. So they basically admit that they have the hots for each other. I mean, we pretty much know that. She seems to be intrigued by James. Now Rodriguez, she raids James's hotel. Okay, so it's a soft search warrant, whatever the heck that means. Now they take a sample of his the bottom of his shoes because they're looking for the dirt from the QCP groundbreaking site. And Rodriguez also finds the phone, which she ends up taking. Remember, Dre was the one that planted that phone, and Sax was the one that gave Dre the phone without even looking on the phone to see what's on it. They're not revealing what's on the phone, whatever. So James has a press conference, Walsh, you remember they announced that he's lieutenant governor, and Walsh introduces him. Now in the background, you can see Tommy kind of sneak in the back, and he's clapping, and he looks angry. He's ticked off because it's like, we've gone through hell and back together. I don't have anything. My father's dead. Lakeisha's dead. Holly's dead. I only have my mama. And, their relationship is pretty much strained. And here it is. Ghost still has his family. Yes, he did lose one of his children, but he has all this, fame and notoriety and all this success, and I have nothing. So you can see that pain and anger on Tommy's face. So he was there for a split second, and then he dipped out. But again, when Ghost was outside speaking to Ramona, you can see that somebody is following him, but we still don't know who. So James takes a trip to Raina's gravesite. And this is the first time that we've seen him at Raina's gravesite in a minute, in a while. So he's just telling her, like, he did it, what I mean? He found the site. He's going to build a community where she can be honored and where kids can basically do all the things that she didn't get an opportunity to do. And he feels proud of himself, so he's sharing this good news with Raina. And then Tasha, she shows up. She's not happy to see Ghost. James, he does attempt to apologize to her. And she's just telling him, this is so stupid for you to run for governor because all of your business is going to be exposed. Like, you putting yourself out there to basically be investigated. So he tells her, look, I passed all my background checks. So in this moment, you can see the dynamic of their relationship. Now it's just gotten worse, He tells her nothing is going to stop me. She doesn't believe in him. This is how he's looking at it. Now, Tasha is not wrong. But Ghost, in his mind, he has his mind made up. I'm legit. Just support me, believe in me. But Tasha's looking at it from the standpoint of, you're a drug dealer. You know what I mean? Like, this political person that you're trying to be with all of this press, you're going to get us like all exposed. So Tasha's not wrong. James is not wrong. But she doesn't understand that he is really trying to go 100% legit, which she never agreed with in the first place. Remember, in season 1, episode 1, he asked her, what do you see for my future? And she basically like reduced him to being a huge drug kingpin, which is not his goal. So James proceeds to tell her that, you know, he met someone. Tasha rolls her eyes. She says, I know, it's Ramona. And he also said that I release you from our marriage. You know, I give you freedom to move on and do what it is that you can do. You know, no one is going to stop me. He wants a positive new life. Now, when he said, I release you from this marriage, you know, I like Ghost, but that ticked me off because when Tasha wanted a divorce, he convinced her not to go through with the divorce because if anything hits the fan, she could testify against him at that point. She stayed. Now, because you found someone, you're getting all of this notoriety. It's like, I release you. I'm done with you. You can go along now. You know, and it's kind of like hurtful. She seems hurt and mad, and she has every right to be both. So I don't know. She looked like in that moment at the graveside, she looked like, you know what? Yeah, all bets are off. I'm going to get back at him, you know. So Rodriguez is now with Warner, and she shares the evidence that she found. And he says, look, this was supposed to be a soft search warrant. So she brings the phone back, and she confirms that the dirt on the bottom of his shoes does match the dirt at the QCP groundbreaking site. She shows him the phone, and her boss is like, how did that phone get there? Like, do you expect me to believe that he killed Terry Silver, kept his cell phone, and then left it out in, you know, his hotel room? She said, like, that is extremely absurd. So he's unsure how the phone got there, and then he automatically knows that someone did this. And then he said, that idiot just doesn't know when to quit. And he's referring to Saxe because he knows that Saxe had something to do with this. Now, Tate and James. Tate shows up to James' Truth nightclub. James is getting ready for a party, you know, because he was announced as lieutenant governor. He's getting ready for the party at his club, and he tries to warn James. See, now, James is on a natural high right now. He doesn't want to hear any negativity. He doesn't care what anybody has to say. But Tate, I think Tate was feeling a little bit guilty at the fact that he just basically gave a false statement to the cops. Him being a former police officer, he knows the ramifications of that. So he tries to warn James, and James is just insulting him. You know, because remember, Tate pulled the QCP project and pretty much told James to like get the heck out of his office. He confronted him and told him, I know that you're Ghost. This was in episode 9. So James feels well within his rights now to like basically like just throw shots at him and just dismiss him, you know. He told him that losing is becoming like, you know, a recurring thing to him. And you can see Tate trying to just keep his composure because I think he felt sorry for him, but he's still angry at James at this point. So he tried to warn him. He did also say something about your son. He said, your son, that reminds me. Tries to tell him something. And James is just not having it. You know, he just basically tells him, move along, you know, insults him, insults his manhood, insults his political, you know, career, and was just like, you know, I'm better than you, you know, I'm better at it than you. I really wish in that moment I would have heard what Tate was going to say, because I think that Tate felt bad about giving that false statement to Rodriguez and Saxe, and he was trying to give him the heads up, I guess like on some, you know, street code, guy code type stuff, but James wasn't having it. So Tariq and James. So Tariq shows up to James' office, his dad's office, and he brings Dre in. So Dre basically needs money, as usual. Dre always needs money. He's trying to tell Ghost, lower your voice. You know, I don't understand why Dre is still alive. Dre should have been deceased seasons ago. Okay? Seasons ago. So, Courtney, what are you doing? There's a method to her madness, so we'll see. So he comes in, you know, comes into the office trying to act all tough. And Ghost basically reminds him, look, you were like my son. You're nothing but a little bee. You came into my office trying to act like you're so gangster and tough. I'll get you the money. So Dre just basically needs to skip town. You know what I mean? He's got a lot of enemies as well, so he needs money to do it. So Ghost agreed to do it, but he said, you got to give me time to get it. And he just sons Dre. The nerve of Dre. So again, you see Ghost, he's still on this natural high, high of all of this success, high that he's achieved his goal. He went totally legit. And Ghost meets up with Tommy. Tommy basically realizes that Ghost was not the one that killed Lakeisha. But I want to know, how does he know that? How does he know that Ghost wasn't the one that killed Lakeisha? And does he know that it was Tasha? Interesting. Now, Tommy did mention the recording that Proctor had when he admitted to killing, what is his name? Not Suarez, that's Mike Suarez. Whatever his name is. The guy that he killed in the car with the hat, the one that Ghost was cool with. So Ghost thought that Proctor got rid of that, you know what I mean? And apparently he didn't. Where did Tommy hear that recording from? Where did he get this information from? Is Tommy holding out, or is Tommy working with somebody to try to get Ghost's got? This is going to be interesting. So Ghost pretty much tells Tommy, this is like them kind of breaking up. He pretty much tells Tommy that he's letting him go. Like, I'm totally legit. And he's like that, he tells Tommy, you need me. Even if you need to hate me, you need me to do it. I'm letting you go. Like, I'm leaving you behind. And Tommy's just like, no, like you get everything you want and I have nothing. You're not leaving me behind and I'm not letting you go. That was really, it wasn't funny, but it was kind of funny to me because I'm like, what is this? But then you have to remember, they were raised together. So they really are brothers. You know what I mean? So I get it. Ghost tells him, no one can stop me. You can't stop me. And he tells Tommy, which I thought was interesting, you chose to have nothing because you wouldn't get out the game. You chose to have nothing. Then you see someone shoots at them and Ghost is like, you trying to set me up? And he was like, no, what are you talking about? So Tommy starts shooting, Ghost starts shooting, Tommy runs into the building. And for a split moment, Ghost thought that Tommy was hit. So he starts screaming his name. He runs into the building. Tommy had told him that it was two shooters. So you see one person laying on the floor. And for a second, I thought it was Tommy. But it wasn't. It was one guy. So that means Tommy has gotten away and the other shooter has gotten away. What is Tommy up to? And who the heck is following him? And why did Tommy disappear? And you don't see him until the end, toward the end of the episode. So Sax, Rodriguez, Tamika, and Warner are all in the office. Okay, Tamika was looking slayed yet again. Okay, her not working at that precinct looks good on her. So she's basically representing Sax. Sax and Rodriguez, they rat each other out. They basically let Warner know that Sax coerced Tate into making a false statement. And Rodriguez also says that she took Sax with her when she found Terry Silver in the trunk. And Warner is just, his mind is blown. And so yet again, this precinct is tangled up in some sort of mess, okay? The whole precinct is corrupt. So Tamika, she encourages Warner to not to go public about Sax and, the misconduct, because all of them could end up going down. So she basically tells him, like, you and Rodriguez can continue to work together. And instead of you trying to prosecute Sax, you guys just work together to nail St. Patrick and make it stick. And she tells Sax, shut up, don't say anything, So I guess she's representing Sax. So that was an interesting little scene. Now, Vincent and Ghost. Ghost runs up on Vincent and basically tells him, look, I need you to do me a favor. I know you have a connection with the Bureau of Prisons. Can you get a burner on the inside? I already knew that he was going to reach out to 2-Bit because I've been saying this entire season that 2-Bit and Ghost are going to end up working together to take Tommy down, because you've seen 2-Bit was real hostile. He does not like the way that Tommy does business, and he's just thirsty for some money and, revenge, which is what Ghost, ends up promising him. Paz shows up to the club. She wants to know who killed her sister. She says to him, I know you didn't kill my sister. because of the autopsy report. That's how she knows. So she wants to know, and Ghost says to her, I can't tell you that because I don't know. She knows that he's lying. She's upset. She says, no, don't, I'm never going to come back here again. Ramona is eavesdropping in the conversation. So Paz storms out because, she didn't get what she wanted. And Ramona is concerned because she approaches Jamie. She's like, why was Angela, I can't compete with a ghost, because she knows that Angela was near and dear to his heart. And he says, everything is okay. Ghost is good at pacifying stuff, that smile, his charm, his calm demeanor. So he puts Ramona at ease in that scene. And Ramona wants to know, why was she trying to keep you out of jail? He tells her, don't worry about it. Ramona's just basically saying that her previous marriage failed because they had too many secrets between them. And she does not want that to be the case. He tells her not to worry. So Tasha and James, they show up at the condo. He tells Ramona, I have to meet up with her. So it looks like they're doing a walkthrough. The condo is finally repaired after Tommy Swiss cheesed everything up when he killed Proctor. So Ghost tells Tasha that Tariq should pretty much turn himself in, because Ghost was unaware that Tariq could go down for Ray Ray's murder. So Tasha is letting him know, because it seems like Saxon Rodriguez, they're pressuring her. So there's a lot on the line right now. And Ghost is just like, I didn't tell them anything. What are you talking about? I didn't know about this, but maybe Tariq should turn himself in, because he can pretty much use his own political weight to get him like rehab, get him probation, get a good lawyer. He doesn't necessarily have to serve jail time. Now, that's not necessarily a bad idea, but Mama Bear Tasha is not feeling that. She's just like, you want our son to go to jail? He's explaining to her, he's the head of everything. So if he goes down, everybody's screwed. And he also says that, I know you don't have a plan. Tasha doesn't. He also revealed that, I know you killed Lakeisha, and she tries to say, like, what are you talking about? And she wants Ghost to basically take the rap. Tasha, girl, not right now. Like, why would he take the rap right now? And then what? So that you can continue selling drugs out of your daycare and end up getting Tariq killed? She's not thinking, because she is ticked off with him. She's like an emotional wreck. She's scared. She's probably scared they're gonna find out that she killed Lakeisha. She's not thinking. And she's not going to agree with Ghost just off the strength that she's ticked off with him. Because what Ghost said made sense. If I could get in office, we could make this thing go away. Come on, there's plenty of politicians who do the same, okay? But she's not hearing it. Tasha threatens Ghost with the Terry Silver murder. He tells her to go ahead. He just wants Tariq to take responsibility for his grown decisions. I don't disagree. But this is a complete 180 from Ghost. She's still not acknowledging him as James, legit James. She's still looking at him as Ghost. And because she's stuck in that mentality and that perception of him, is causing her to basically like dismiss every suggestion and everything that he's saying. So I get it. So Tasha storms off, says she never wants to see him again. He goes into Raina's room, and Raina's ghost appears to him. And Raina basically tells her father that she had to pay for her consequences. So why doesn't, Tariq? Because he asked her, do you think I should let Tariq turn himself in? And that's when she says, I had to pay for my consequences. Why shouldn't he? And she also tells him that, Tariq didn't teach me to lie. I made a decision to lie, but you and mom taught me how to lie. So that was real interesting. So more closure throughout the episode, He feels that he is making the right decisions, and everyone else is having a hard time with the decisions that he's making. So Tariq and Ghost, they talk. Tariq is upset because, his father is not taking the rap for him. He tries to explain to him the same thing he explained to his mother about him getting in office, and he'll make all of this go away. Tariq is pissed off. He says, you were never a father. I should have known. I don't trust you. You can see Tariq is really hurt because he's like trying to fight back tears as he was talking. So he did ask him about Breeze, who Ghost killed, when he was younger. And Ghost tried to explain to Tariq, listen, I killed Breeze, and what Kanan didn't tell you is I gave Breeze one more chance to do right, and he didn't, so I had to take him out. So it's not looking good with Tariq and his father. Now, Rodriguez and Warner, they meet with the judge basically to present evidence that they have to try to get this arrest warrant for James. He tears them to shreds. And they're basically, again, they're trying to get an arrest warrant. So when Warner decides to pull out the phone out of his pocket. Now, you could tell this was a clutch move because they were going to eliminate that because it was basically going to convict all of them. It was going to convict Sachs, and all of this was going to be revealed. But because the judge was tearing to shred dirt samples and everything else that she had, he pulls it out. So, yeah, Warner pulls out the cell phone. So the judge is basically like, look, you guys are trying to try this man again. He was exonerated. You thought you had all your ducks in a row. And this man walked, and come to find out the person that killed Greg Knox was someone who worked in your precinct. Anyway, Tubit gets a phone call, and it's Ghost. And he basically says, you know, money and revenge is at stake. What's up? So you already know they're going to work together. So James is at Truth nightclub. He's happy. Bottles are flowing. He kisses Ramona. Ramona wants to keep their relationship hush-hush and a secret, but he kisses her in the middle of the dance floor, so pretty much they're gone public. Now, Dre gets locked up, right? Because Ghost set him up, and yeah, he gets locked up for the murder of Jason, you know, drug lord Jason. So Rodriguez goes to visit him in jail. So Dre calls Rodriguez and he's crying, "Wah, get me out of here," you know. So Rodriguez coerces him into giving a statement that he was with James when James killed Terry Silver. Oh, God. Now, she's desperate because she realizes that, because she's in too deep now, Rodriguez realizes that if she doesn't come up with something, it's a wrap, because she knows that Sachs doesn't have her back. You know, she's all on her own. That is going to be a mess. So she gets Dre to give that confession. So Dre ends up getting out of jail that night. And Rodriguez ends up calling the judge in the middle of the night to try to see if she can get a search warrant, because when she was presenting the evidence with Warner, he basically didn't give them a search warrant at that point. And this is why Sachs was depressed, because Tamika at that time had told him, "You basically going to jail, sir. You know, the judge pretty much signed everything, so you can turn yourself in tomorrow." But Dre got locked up, and he called Rodriguez, and it seems like Rodriguez was able to call the judge and get a search warrant. So Tariq shows up at the club, and he comes to the club to basically ask his father one more time, "Do you really think that I should turn myself in?" And Ghost says yes. He says, "I'll be there with you every step of the way. Like, I'm not going to leave your side." Tariq doesn't trust his father. So that is pointless to him. Now, remember, when Ghost and Tariq were talking in the hotel and he told him why he killed Breeze, he said he gave Breeze one more chance to do right by him, and he didn't, so he had to take him out. Fast forward, Tariq showed up to the club to give Ghost one more time to see if he was going to help him by taking the fall for him, and he didn't. So Tariq just turns around and says, "Good night, Dad." Ghost is totally oblivious to what's going on because, again, he is not in the mind frame of Ghost. He is thinking like James St. Patrick, the businessman, the accomplished man, the legit man. So he totally missed that. And plus, he was in the middle of his club, so he wasn't even paying attention. Tamika, she's at Sachs's apartment. Again, she's telling him that he's basically going to jail. So you see him go for his gun. Now, I thought he was going to commit suicide, but he had other plans. So Kanan, the club is empty. You know, Ghost is doing a little walkthrough, and Kanan shows up. And I'm like, oh my God, they had the camera all in his face. Kanan pretty much tells him that all this good guy act is fake and that he's a bad guy just like him and he deserves to go to jail, yada, yada. And James tells Kanan, Ghost tells Kanan, "You made me this way." Really, James? Now remember, he just told Tommy that Tommy chose to stay in this drug game. So James, we could say the same thing to you, sir. Now I love you. You know what I'm saying? I got love for James / Ghost. But Kanan made you this way, but you chose to stay this way. But it's never too late to turn it around. So now he's trying to turn it around. And he just tells him, like, look, I'm done with this, Kanan. And it's like he's facing his last demon. So that's closure as far as that Kanan situation is concerned. Yeah, so Ramona's there, and Ramona's like, James, snaps him out. So they agree to meet up, at the hotel to finally do the do, because it seems like they're on the same page and they have an understanding of, what they both want from each other. So she goes back to the hotel to pretty much get ready. And James is just closing up the club, and he's turning off the lights. And it was the moment of truth in truth, okay? So he's at the top of the balcony, and he's just marveling in his success. You can tell on his face, like, I did it. I really finally did it, right? So you see Saxe walking down the street. It looks like all of these people are heading toward the nightclub. It looks like it. You see Saxe walking down the street with his gun. You see Dre is driving. So Dre's out of jail. He's driving. He looks like he's walking toward the club with his gun cocked. Paz, you see her putting up which is Angela's sister, putting a gun in her purse and walking. Tariq is walking down, it seems like, some stairs. Tasha is all dolled up, and she's walking, Tommy, he has his gun. He stays with his gun ready, because remember, we hadn't seen Tommy since that little mini shootout. You see Tate walking with his, cocking. Rodriguez is headed to the club as well to possibly serve James with a warrant. So we're all assuming that they're all walking to the club. And then you see, it looks real cinematic. It reminded me of like Spike Lee movies where Paz is like, what do you mean? And, Rodriguez is like, nope. The judge said, nope, it wasn't enough evidence. Now, that scene seemed like it was from before, when she first, you know what? It just dawned on me. She probably let all these people know earlier that the judge wouldn't sign a warrant. But then remember, Dre called her later on that night. So that's why she was walking up to serve him. Duh. Anyway. So we hear one gunshot, which startled Rodriguez. And then in a beautifully done, dramatic, cinematic way, we see Ghost falling in slow motion back way from the balcony, which means he turned around to whoever it was that shot him, because he got shot right in the chest. And Big Rich Town is playing with a piano melody, and someone is singing, and he just falls over. So who shot Ghost? So Courtney Kemp is really going to leave us hanging until January 5th. Everybody has their theories. I don't know. I would say it's either Tariq or it is whoever it was that was following Ghost that we didn't see. The person that was probably following Ghost was probably Jason's boy, who knows that Ghost probably killed Jason. So I think it was either Tariq, or I also think it was one of Jason's boys. Or it could be somebody we had totally not expected. Because for all of them to be walking at the same time, I don't know. You know what I mean? I don't know. That just seems like, okay, all of y'all walking at the same time. We don't know. But I would guess that it would be Tariq. Because that scene when Tariq came there the last time to try to give him one last chance, is Ghost dead? Is he dead? A lot of people are saying that if he's dead, they're not going to watch the show anymore. But what do you think, Royal Family? This was a good episode. Some didn't like it. I did. I think the writing was really done very well. Is this recording? Yeah. Okay. The lighting was done very well. This video has been long enough. So I'm going to wrap it up. Hopefully I gave you a good synopsis, good layout for those who don't get the opportunity to watch it or keep up with it. Get down in the comments, Royal Family. This is long, so hopefully this will hold everybody over until January 5th, when the remaining 5 episodes of season 6 return. This is going to be good. This is going to be good. So, Royal Family, get down in the comments. I want to thank all of you for clicking on the video and spending a little bit of extended time with me today. But be sure to be respectful in the comments of yourselves, each other, and me. Okay, I greatly appreciate it. But get down in the comments and let's hash this out, because everybody has their theories. I want to hear everybody's theories. No theory is crazy. Don't disrespect anyone. Don't call anyone stupid. We're all thinkers. So let's go ahead and get this debate on. Don't forget to like this video if you like it. If you are a new subscriber, welcome. If you haven't subscribed as of yet, consider doing so. We'd love to have you here at the Royal Family. All right, I'll meet you down in the comments. Until next time, peace.